a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, it's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Open the pod bay doors, Val.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies close.
I am nothing! No!
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Get busy living. Or get busy dying.
What's going on, everyone? My name's Michael, and welcome to Cinemaze, a podcast where a bunch of mates chat about cinema over some drinks. Today, I'm joined by Theo, Ben, and Angus. Boys, thanks for coming on the show. How are you all going?
Yeah, thanks for having me back, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. First time.
Very happy to be here. Very excited. Let's have it.
Good. Let's do it. In this episode, we'll be talking about the TV show that we've been waiting for since 2019, Season 4 of Stranger Things, created by the Duffer Brothers, starring Wenona Ryder, David Harbour, Millie Bobby Brown, and many more. And while we do that, we'll be drinking some Coors lower carb beers.
Lower carb.
Lower carb. As always, make sure you're following Cinemates on your chosen streaming platform and leave a 5-star review. Also, check out the Cinemaze YouTube channel where I post video essays on film and TV characters. Now, getting into it, boys. Angus is a regular here on the Cinemates podcast, but for those that are new, we like to get an idea of who our guests are and what they like to watch. So, got a few deep questions about cinema. First question, and we'll start with you, Theo. Most memorable movie that you saw in cinemas?
Very good one. I think for me, it would have been the first Hunger Games. A big fan of those. All out, freaking big gory.
Okay.
And everyone's Survival of the Fittest loved it.
Okay, nice. Good choice. Ben?
Mine would be Interstellar.
Wow.
If you're not crying during that scene, what are you doing? One of the great cinema
The bookshelf.
experiences. Yeah, one of the great cinema experiences. That.
Nice.
Still don't understand it.
Years later, still don't get it. Next question, fastest TV show binge?
I'm not actually a huge binger, but I did watch the whole of The Witcher when I had COVID because there's nothing to do, so it had to be just something.
Any good? I haven't seen it.
It was a bit like a fantasy sort of crazy, close to Game of Thrones, but nowhere near as good. So just more of a binge.
Sort of Northman-like as well.
Okay.
Core level.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ben, fastest binge?
Mine was Yellowstone. I think I watched the whole thing in about a week and a half. Just
Like up to season 4?
up to season 4. Yeah.
Really? 4 seasons in a week and a
I
half?
was smashing it.
Jesus.
Sicko mode.
That horse riding in Montana just gets you feeling something.
Yeah, makes you want to go there.
Oh, definitely.
That's only on Stan, hey? You can't watch it on,
In Australia. Oh, I think it's on Paramount as well now, if you have Paramount Plus.
You need more streaming services there.
Yeah, I'm a Netflix freaking moron. Got to expand out, yeah.
Got to get them. Next question, favorite Australian movie?
I think for me it was Mad Max, hands down.
The original or Fury Road?
Fury, the recent one, I think.
Okay. Yeah, like
2016?
yeah, around there, 2015 maybe.
Yeah.
Good movie. Ben?
Mine was Lion. I think I watched it on a
Nice.
plane, and just remember I think the whole row of my family was watching Lion, and everyone was just in tears.
Yeah.
I keep talking about crying. I'm pretty emotional.
You like emotional shit.
You a few tears here and there. No, they're both interesting answers. They've been talked about quite a lot here for the Australian answers on the Cinemates podcast. So definitely some good movies if you haven't seen there from Australian talent. Next question, movie that you think everyone needs to see.
100% Step Brothers. That was me from the get-go. Bit of comedy, stupidity, and just a lot of funny yarns.
Yeah, absolute classic. Ben?
I was a bit stumped by this, but I went with Django Unchained. That was such a good film. Jamie Foxx, just
Quentin.
absolutely destroying everyone. Great gore, like easy, good watch.
100%. Good answer. Next question, favorite streaming service?
Yeah, as I said before, I've only been with Netflix, so time to expand, I think.
Fair enough. No, it's got some good content, that's for sure. Ben? Favorite streaming service?
I used to be a Stan man myself, but Netflix has got so much at the moment.
It does.
And I think
What
it's-
had you on Stan?
I had
Yellowstone,
Yellowstone on
mate.
Stan.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Seinfeld.
The Office is on there. Or still on there, maybe.
Yep. Office.
But yeah, Netflix is putting out heat now.
It's probably a lot of quantity and not a whole lot of quality though. Sometimes.
Yeah, I do feel that. Like they obviously we're going to talk about it, but Stranger Things, Ozark, a lot of really big shows, but then they have some absolute duds
I
that
reckon
they.
it's still they're the crown, they're the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
I mean, just
They've got the new stuff, you know. Like Stan has a lot of the old stuff, and if you watched it, you've watched it.
Yeah.
But Netflix.
yeah. Well, I'm watching Peaky Blinders at the moment, so I'm all in on Netflix right now.
Yeah, for
Love
sure.
that. That was unreal.
Speaking of TV show that you're watching at the moment, Theo.
Just mentioned, inspired by you boys in the last few uploads, Ozark.
Okay.
Listened to the podcast and it was like, I got to get into this. And
What episode you up
I
to?
think I'm through out of 10. Started watching it with Dad because he was chilling out, and now I've got him hooked and we're both on.
Nice. Yeah, my parents liked it as well. Really good. Keen to see how you enjoy it, Ben.
I'm gonna just go the complete opposite direction. I'm watching Love Island at the moment. It's just great trashy television.
Love Island.
Love Island.
Love Island.
Nice.
Geordie Shore or Love Island, Ben? What do you think?
Love Island for me every day of the week.
Really? You say that?
Oh yeah, it's so
The old Geordie Shore seasons are pretty funny though.
Yeah.
The OJs.
They did get a bit like sort of fake towards the end, but nonetheless, really good television. So in the last episode, we had Cinemate's elevator pitch from Ned, who recommended Hustle. And this was seriously good. Adam Sandler is awesome. Absolutely loved seeing him in a bit more of a serious role. Also had Juancho Hernan-Gomez, who is great as well. Have you guys seen Hustle on Netflix?
seen
Yeah, I have. As a basketball fan, I've seen it, and everyone should.
Yeah.
As a sport fan, you should just watch it.
As a sports fan, I reckon this was one of the better sports movies out there. The basketball scenes and the training workouts are shot so well, which Ned mentioned, and in a way, it makes it very different from other basketball movies. Like you've obviously got Coach Carter and other classics, but they're pretty standard in the way that they shoot the basketball itself. And I thought this was pretty unique. What do you think about that, Angus?
Yeah, no. As a basketball player, well, they're obviously using professional players, so all the clips they would have are like legitimate and like no acting involved.
Yeah.
And Adam Sandler, just being such a big basketball fan, he would have put his like heart and soul into making it like perfect.
Absolutely.
So, it's actually really enjoyable.
Really
Sandler
good.
directing or playing?
Just playing,
Just
but
playing.
He would be on the
I think he-
producing side as well for
He
sure.
produced it. And LeBron James produced it as well. But nonetheless, such a heartwarming story, and loved seeing all the big NBA players in there as well. Thank you, Ned, for the elevator pitch. And because it was so good, it's deserving of its own episode. So we'll be chatting very soon. And next episode, we'll be back with another elevator pitch. Now, getting into Stranger Things, boys, to the listeners out there who haven't seen season 4 yet, or the show itself, what would you say about the TV series in one word?
I'll go first.
Yeah, mate.
Shoot.
I'm gonna go musical.
Okay.
I
Why?
think this season, the music, it's always had great music. And I think the music was really tied into the story this season. You know, you had the Kate Bush running up that hill, but then you also have these callbacks to other seasons.
Yeah.
I believe Will, when he was in the Upside Down in the early season, was humming "Should I Stay or Should I Go?" So potentially,
Oh,
that
it
may
might
have
come
been
back.
what kept him in.
Interesting. Musical. Good word there. Theo?
Yeah, I was very similar on that. One of my main takes. But for my one word recommendation, I said resilience. These kids, like, if you watch all the way toward the end of the season, they're just freaking getting smashed around. Some are falling left, right, and center. Some are dying. Some are getting their bones twisted horizontally. And they just keep going like, oh yeah, it's still good, but we're resilient. We've got to keep going. And like, they just leave someone dead behind and then just keep fucking powering on, just smash the mission. So
Nice.
for how young they are, it's pretty incredible for them.
It's inspiring. Good word. Angus, what's your...
I'll say
One more.
growth. I thought a few of the main actors took like massive leaps this season just in their performances.
Yeah.
We'll get back into that later, but yeah, like really enjoyed watching them grow on screen.
100%. Completely agree with that. My one word is going to be Bush, as in Kate Bush, which Ben mentioned.
There it is.
The music and the soundtrack and the score itself is just phenomenal and really became part of the story. But if you haven't seen Stranger Things or season 4 yet, you got some words there to go by. But let's get into it now. There'll be some spoilers from here. So, boys, what were our kind of overall thoughts of the season?
I loved it. it's probably the most ambitious season they've done yet.
Absolutely.
So many storylines going on all at once. And the episode lengths were painted the picture of how ambitious they've gone. Towards the end, each episode was pretty much a movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you're locked and loaded if you're watching a whole one.
Yeah. And like we've obviously waited since 2019 for this, but I'm glad that they put in so much effort. There's obviously a bigger budget. The actors, which we'll get into, are like performing better. But the story just had so much going on and so many character arcs.
I would say there's definitely some flatline performances,
Yeah.
like people that haven't really developed, and yeah, some who smashed it out of the park.
For sure. I think one thing for me was when we were seeing all these main characters and all these different arcs, I was like, geez, like how are they going to tie them all together? And I think I saw Millie Bobby Brown, who plays 11. She even said on like Jimmy Fallon or something that she thought that there were too many characters before the season came out. So I was like, okay, maybe it's a bit too much, but I think they did it really well. The writing was insane. And like, I think for me, for a lot of them, even though they only had like a small snippet of the season, the episodes were longer. So you were still able to like care about each of them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think as well, another thing was that they also tied previous seasons, like Ben said, and like some of the mystery or mysterious things that you weren't quite sure about going into this season. Like, how did the Upside Down get created? And they like started to actually call back to them.
I still don't know how the Upside Down got created. Like,
You don't think you got some answers this season?
I think
well, no, Vecna still like just got bursted into the Upside Down by Elle.
Yeah, but
It was just there.
You didn't know that before.
It was just there though. Like there's no history. We didn't get any history on like how it became. And,
Yeah,
like,
but, okay. Well, all I'm saying
I guess we're
is
just
they-
meant to understand that it's like just a different realm.
Yeah, but also like the Demogorgons and the like particle in season 2.
Mind
like
Flayer.
we now get why they
Connecting the
exist.
dots.
And we
this
get
season.
why they're attacking now, because Vecna's molded this landscape.
Yeah, they could have
into
just been
his own.
chilling down there in their little realm, like
Yeah.
not giving a fuck about anything, and then this guy's just made them all evil.
Yeah, exactly. Theo,
He's
you
a freak.
mentioned it before. This season was much more gory and dark. What do you guys think of that? Do you think it was a good choice?
Yeah. As these kids are getting older, like
Mm.
the severity of what occurs needs to get larger, and like lifting these like teenagers into the air and snapping all their limbs,
Their
and
limbs.
ripping their eyeballs out. Like the first time I saw that happen, that Chrissy girl.
Oh, that was
holy shit.
yeah.
That was
She just-
normal by the end of it. You're like, here we go, it's going. Oh, there she goes.
Also, like
She just drops to the ground. Like,
Oh,
you're
it's
like, oh my
fucked.
God.
also in the Russian prison, the Demogorgon like shredding up the prisoners, and you see it all like ripping open their heads and stuff.
I think there was a scene when
Gnarly.
they came back, like when they came back into the prison and they walked in, and that guard they'd chained up to the wall, you looked and it was just his hand hanging in the shackles and his body was gone.
Yeah, but just stuff like that, just insane. I already mentioned it, and Ben already talked about it with his word. But what about the soundtrack this season?
Best so far, easily.
Yeah, that was
So
a
good.
massive comment as mine as well.
Yeah, I think it really tied into the story, and it also made the scenes just way more emotional. Like, I don't know about you guys, but there were like multiple scenes where I had tingles. I was like nearly crying.
The like running up the hill, perfect selection. All the California songs like were all just like the complete vibe of like 70s, 80s California.
Yeah.
And then the song where they're preparing to
The last
basically
one?
go into battle. Nah, like the second last one.
Oh, okay.
The one they're preparing to go into battle, and it's all like red everywhere.
Mm.
I think it's called Separate Ways. And they sort of edited two songs together, put Stranger Things like mixed behind it, and it just hypes you up when they're all arriving to their different destinations before they plan.
Yeah.
For sure.
What I find crazy is all these songs, when I first heard them, like, oh, maybe they're connected to Stranger Things being released, but they're all like 1900 songs, like late 1900s. Like Kate Bush was done in 1985. Argyle's song The Dutchie, which is with all like the Surfer Boy Pizza one, was done like late 1900s. And then the final one, which you brought up in the group chat, where it was super emotional and everyone was dying. When it's
By
cold,
Moby.
I'd like to die by
Yeah.
Moby. That the backtrack was so powerful.
That was so good. We'll talk about that later, but yeah, the soundtrack was insane. What did you guys think about the different plot lines that were going on? Because there was like at least like 4 or 5 plot lines. There was 9 episodes. How do you think they handled that?
4 plot lines, right?
Well, you got
You have Elle, because she separates from the California boys. You have
Yep.
Elle with Papa.
you got
got
Nancy,
for
Steve,
the California
and
boys. You
Robin.
got Hawkins. Oh, you got 2 separate Hawkins, hey?
You got Russia.
And you got Russia.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it was overdone? Do you think they handled it well?
I think some were done really well. Like Nancy came into her own this season, and Steve solidified himself as probably one of the best characters
The goat.
in the show. But then other characters like Jonathan was a strong character back in the day.
Yeah, he
But he
fell
sort
by
of
the wayside.
Regressed a bit.
He was never a strong character for me.
Hopefully,
We'll get into that, but
hopefully he, lifts,
Bit of a redemption.
lifts in the later seasons, because sometimes you got to take a load off in order
Yeah,
to
yeah.
put a load on.
nice.
later on.
Great take there.
When they condensed
some
toward the end, I
predictions.
found it was a bit better. Like when Elle went from solo to then coming with the gangs, and they were all converging toward Hawkins, and then they all met and then fought, and then
Yeah, because I was like, okay, how are they going to tie Russia back to Hawkins? How's Elle going to come back from the like science army conflict? Like, but they did it so well in the last 2 episodes.
The army conflict is like so intense. Like
It is.
they have full on like FBI agents gunning for
Yeah,
16-year-old kids.
It's like a movement.
and they just get done.
Yeah, such a good season. Just before we get into our favorite scenes, quotes, and characters of the show, we'll just take a quick ad break.
All right, boys. So we're getting into the best parts or like quotes of the show. One that I've been mulling on for the past couple of days, which I think is one of the coldest lines in the show from Vecna.
Okay.
He says, I saw a means to realize my potential, to transcend my human form, to become the predator I was always born to be.
So gnarly.
And he does that when he's like fully like spinning Elle, basically thinking that he's like won the whole thing. And it's like so dark and menacing.
Yeah, and also the scene itself, like you see the whole upside down, and he's still kind of like half burnt in the
He's
white.
like sort of like only just got there. And
Yeah.
he's like, fuck yeah, this is my destiny.
Gnarly, but also just looked so cool. Bit of a random jump, but I don't know if you guys remember this, but the recap at the very start of episode 1, I thought was really good. Like it, because
Refresher.
we've waited like 3 years, and they did it so well, at least for me, where I was like, oh wow, okay, I know where every character is, and the music, especially because at the end of season 3, you think Hopper dies. Elle has shut the portal.
Yeah.
So I just thought the recap was good.
a long time between drinks, so you need a bit of a refresher.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I think goes without saying, we've talked about it a bit, but the scene where Max was running away from Vecna,
Yeah,
I think that just, while Kate Bush running up the hill is going on, I think that scene itself, it was in like episode, 4 or 5?
Dear
Four.
Billy.
First time she got,
4.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that just kicked it into gear, and you were just like, holy fuck. What'd you guys think of that scene?
I think I watched it and I was pretty shocked. Like they've never done anything that
No,
emotive before.
100.
And there was articles written definitely about the fact that that was going to like win an Oscar or something like
Really?
that. Win awards for the best
Win an Emmy.
scene
Emmys.
on Netflix, I believe.
Oh my God.
It felt like you're like at a sport game. Some guy's got a intercept, go for a breakaway try, and you're up on your feet going, go, go.
That's
He's screaming at Max, you fucking run.
because the whole episode builds up that she's gonna die, and then there's the scene where she's reading like the note that she wrote to Billy at his grave, and she's crying and just like showing all this emotion, which we usually don't get. And Sadie Sink, who plays Max, I thought just killed it. So then when you get the scene where she's running, you're like, fuck yeah, like fucking get out of there.
She just given
See
all,
the light.
She just given all the other boys notes as well. Like
Yeah.
basically like saying she's gonna die.
Did we ever see those?
Yeah,
No,
No, they.
that was
She
so
told
heavy.
him. She told him not to read them unless she dies.
unless she died. That's
Yeah.
right.
feel we'll see him- we'll see him in
Season
season
5, maybe.
We'll get some emotion there.
If she does,
The 4 chimes are still in my head though. Ding.
yeah. Oh man, like this is so cringe. But recently, like whenever I need to go to the toilet at night, I'm like, fuck, Vecna's out there. I can't do it. He's gonna get me.
I'm gonna see the clock.
Your local clock goes in the house. You're like, no, I'm going back to bed.
Yeah. Another great scene for me was, and we'll jump all over the place, so fuck it. Joyce and Hopper when they reunite, and they just like look at each other for ages, and he's like just killed the Demogorgon, and then they're talking about their like date that they couldn't go on because he got sucked in. What do you guys think of that?
Talking about all the food he's gonna eat.
Yeah, all the
Yeah, I'm
food
having
at the
2
restaurant.
breadsticks. Let's go.
Yeah, he's like lasagna or the parmesan.
And
Like,
Joyce
what
is
do I
like
get?
flirting in them the whole way, being like, okay, and what after that course? And then
Yeah.
what about dessert?
When the fuck are you gonna kiss me, mate?
Yeah.
Use your imagination. Come on.
Man, the chemistry, like speaking of the chemistry between them two, you got the chemistry between Nancy and Steve, which we'll talk about. Chemistry between Lucas and Max.
Yeah.
I might change my word to chemistry for the season. Like fucking
that.
so good.
Scientific bloke.
What are some other good scenes for you guys?
We're jumping around.
Let's jump around.
Yeah, like we can get emotional. Like
Let's do it.
We got hammered. I'll just put like there's 4 scenes on the table, 3 or 4. We got hammered at the end in the last half an hour.
Oh,
You got the
man.
slow mo, so I'm like tingling up with like just excitement. Slow mo running up that hill. They like kill everything. Then you've forgotten that you've just seen Max's bones get snapped. She falls into Lucas's arms. He like just delivers an amazing performance. He's got. Everyone knows now that when he yells at Erica, help, like that was improvised. He was just like in the moment.
Oh, really?
He went off script, just screamed out Erica, help.
Caleb McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good performance from him. And then, but we have Elle reuniting with Hopper, and like that gives you chills again.
A door 3 inches wide. I kept it 3
Yeah.
inches wide for you.
I forgot about that. Like,
Yeah.
I forgot what that reference was.
And then Dustin talking about Eddie.
Man.
And Dustin holding Eddie in his arms as well.
Man, that,
I'm sick of people getting held in the arms and like looking as they die.
So much chemistry, but nothing's happening.
yeah. The finale was fucked in that sense. I remember, like, because Eddie dies and you're like, fuck. Eddie was such a good, I don't know about you guys, but Eddie was such a good character this season. Just so refreshing, funny, like bit wild.
Yeah, definitely.
And then he's got his own little arc of like being a hero and he sacrifices himself. So him dying, I was like, fuck.
Perfect arc, honestly.
And him and Dustin got really close. And then Max dying for me with Lucas yelling out, as well as Eddie dying. They were my 2 favorite scenes. And him saying, Erica, help, was just like, I was like going to cry. I was that close.
I'm pretty sure I had a little bit of a drop of a tear.
Yeah. And the song, I've been listening to that song like all week.
When it's cold,
the
I'd like to
Moby
die.
song.
I
Yeah.
can't
And it is pretty cold in Sydney at the moment. So it's pretty
Moving
fitting.
back to Eddie, like his arc was like insanely good. Like the way they introduced him, and like Mike and Dustin were already really good friends with him because like maybe between the season, you know, they've just been playing
Yeah.
D&D with him, and he's like 21 years old.
Was he in the
Still at
other
school.
seasons?
No. Never mentioned.
So he's 21.
He's 21. Like he keeps failing senior year.
Right.
Like staying there. And he's completely true to himself the whole way through. He sort of accepts himself as being a misfit and like running away, and then full circle at the end of it, they say he sacrifices himself for a town that thinks he's like a mass murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a great quote on that as well. Just before they were going to go into battle, when they were all leaving, they're separating their own ways. Eddie and Dustin were staying at the like the little crate to like defend from there and distract them. I thought it was gonna be really corny when Eddie was leaving. And instead of this, when they said normally say good luck, they said make him pay or like be careful. And I was like, wow, they're on now. They're gonna go absolutely trash them. So
They're going to go ham.
I thought at least went corny and did some fun stuff.
Yeah, the dialogue was good in that way. It wasn't cheesy at all. I think that was because they made it a bit more dark.
While we're on the Eddie train,
Mm.
I might just hop on board. the scene where at the end when they're at the shelter in the school gym and Eddie's uncle is taking down his missing poster.
Oh,
it
man.
has all the satanic symbols all over it, and he puts up the fresh poster,
Mate.
and then Dustin comes over, hands him his, I think it's like his necklace.
It's his
tag or
guitar
something?
pick.
Yeah.
With a
his
necklace
guitar
around
pick.
it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great scene. That probably got me out of all of the scenes.
That got me too. So the performances that I liked were Lucas, Caleb McLaughlin, and Gaten Maserata in those
He was
moments. When he tells Eddie's uncle, he does just this little slight lip quiver before he like reveals like the necklace.
So subtle.
And I was like, oh fuck! It like fully got me in the heart.
The other thing is, I thought, because there's so many characters and they had to tie it all up, I thought that Eddie's death was just going to be contained to the group because he talks about his family all being away.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, like no one's going to know that he died. And then we get the scene and you're like, fuck, like he gets the recognition. So good.
And to him dying, fuck, we're on the Eddie train here, boys.
Eddie, man.
For him dying, I've seen some takes, some theories online.
Okay.
Here we go.
First one is he wears, to go steal that car, the van, he wears the Mike Myers mask that that Max has worn previously in like season 3, just in a Halloween thing.
Yep.
Mike Myers, who's a famous, obviously, in the Halloween movies, he repeatedly escapes death. Repeatedly comes back for another movie and is alive. So there's a little theory there. He might not be dead. Second one, which I like more, is this whole thing's based on Dungeons and Dragons, right? And the Duffer Brothers, the directors, they like tie pretty closely to that.
Yeah.
When he is fighting the bats, he has the shield and he has like this pole, which is sort of like a sword.
Mm.
And that makes him look very like this character in D&D called Cass the Bloody Handed. And he's the right-hand man of Vecna.
Really?
So maybe in season 5, the Duffer Brothers also said you can't die from demo bats like biting you. So maybe in season 5, he's like sort of
Stuck
succumbed
down
to
there.
the upside
Dark
down,
side.
stuck down there. Vecna could be trying to use him as a right-hand man, but I think Eddie would like prevail from like his soul within and like, you
That
know,
could be
betray
big.
him.
That could be big. I'd hate for him to become like a villain.
Yeah, if he got brainwashed, that'd be so sad.
Yeah. Wow,
But it could be like half a season he's brainwashed and then he's a massive redemption like comes
Yeah,
out.
wow. A
That
bit of a
could-
Billy.
But we could also just count our losses.
Yeah.
And he's gone forever.
Hot take. Here we go.
Well, on the Billy train, like he was, introduced in the season, had a bit of a redemption, and it was like, okay, like he had a good stint. I'm glad that he like went. Obviously, Eddie was more of a, liked character, but maybe I think he's gone out on a good way. So
Yeah, we
I'd
could
be
just leave it.
content if they didn't bring him back.
But it's fun to think about those
Yeah,
theories.
absolutely. Good theory there. One thing for me, I thought that when they were showing number 1 in the flashback scenes with 11 at the facility with all the gifted kids, I wasn't quite sure where he was going to come into it. And then I just thought that the scenes where he starts to reveal himself as Vecna and the son of the guy who scratches his eyes out. I thought they were just so good, especially his performance. Like he's so menacing. Jamie Campbell Bower just like such a, I don't know, he just looks very odd. What do you guys think about him?
I do remember watching it. I was like, why is this guy working in the facility so relevant? Like, why is he getting so much screen time? You don't know that this Vecna is about to become a thing. So you're like, okay, all right. And then when it was revealed, I was like, oh, shit.
So good.
Yeah, it was a great little. They kept that really hidden.
They did.
He was just slightly there the whole time, the
Yeah.
Jamie Campbell Bower character.
Man.
What's his name? Henry?
Henry.
Yeah, Henry.
Yeah.
And you sort of get the whole motivation for why he's built the upside down to look like Hawkins because it's El's fault,
trapped, yeah.
isn't it? Like,
El's fault. He's from there. Like he was originally
Yeah.
from Hawkins.
Yeah.
yeah,
I just don't really. You don't really get a reason why he's so fucked up.
No.
He's just the kid just liked to kill animals when he was like 8.
Yeah.
How old do you reckon he is though, Henry? Do you reckon he'd be like
I think
reckon
like
he's like
20.
25.
Because the second oldest would be the kid that was bullying at 11, right?
Yeah,
He was,
yeah.
Looked maybe 12 or maybe
Yeah, something like
14.
that.
It'd be a massive age gap. I would find that.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like the original though. So like,
He was the
like-
OG, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys. Favorite romance out of Joyce and Hopper, Nancy and Steve, and Lucas and Max?
I'm going to shoot with Nancy and Steve.
Okay.
Just because during the whole time, actually, yeah, I'll roll with that because you just feel so bad for Steve. The man is grinding. He's like lost her previously and
Yeah.
he's realized he's an absolute idiot.
Man is grinding.
Yeah, he's like literally looking at her eyes and having so many scenes where like this is.
He's
sort
telling
of
her about his like future plans in his life.
Yeah.
Blatantly
So
indicating
open.
to her that like I want you to be the mother of my children and we go on holidays together.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna get absolutely axed after he said that, like saying how his future, and then he was just gonna get dead.
Well, the bats start eating him. I was like, don't die,
Yeah, I was
man,
like, this
please.
is it.
I know.
I'll say Lucas and Max. Really enjoying. Well, I was enjoying watching their like the young love blossom.
Mm.
Like they like play it so perfectly how like awkward and like innocent they are.
Yeah.
They also had their little tiff at the start of the season too.
Mm.
So yeah, I liked that a lot. And then obviously the performance of him just sticking by her side and losing her momentarily as well.
Yeah.
It's great.
I think they're three like really good romances. I particularly liked that Nancy and Steve didn't get together because maybe next season. But for me, I think it was Lucas and Max, especially because Max for me was my favorite character of the season. Like she just grew so much, and I thought that Sadie's performance was just so good. Lucas at the start of the season was being a little bitch with his basketball mates and the bullies. And I was
Wanna
like,
be a cool guy.
I literally wrote in my phone, Lucas is being a little bitch. Like, and I was like, please, like, just come back. And he comes back hard, starts to realize that like Max is important in his life. So I'm going to go with Lucas and Max, and their ending was sad as fuck.
Can we do a quick poll? If you vote for like Steve and Nancy or Jonathan and Nancy. Michael?
I'm going Steve and Nancy.
I'm going Steve and Nancy as well.
Easily Stephen.
Yeah. Theo's not even saying anything.
I think it has to be done, Steve and Nancy.
Yeah, give the viewers what they
Jonathan's
want,
lost it.
man.
Yeah, no,
Jonathan's
it was,
lost it.
There's a bit where they come together at the end of the season as well.
The kisses are on the forehead.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Jonathan goes, "Are we still okay?" And she's like, "Absolutely not."
And
Wait,
he's
it's like, no, Steve's a really good guy now.
Yeah.
Since we've already completely got around Steve Harrington too much, I think my favorite character, bit of a silent achiever, was Murray. So
Yes.
that was Brett Gelman. Mate, the man was an asset. He pretty much helped Joyce like decipher some stupid Russian code that Hopper sent in like kids text.
So true.
Which was ridiculous. And then you got Hopper back.
Mm.
He speaks Russian, and leading on to my favorite scene, he whipped out a freaking flamethrower and said, "Hey assholes," and like blast like 30 demigorgons when like Hopper and Joyce are about to die.
Mate, he's so good. Like he was like an unsung hero. There's a scene where he's like karate chopping Yuri on the plane.
Oh yeah, he's like some
so
random
good.
guy that's just like all in on like just
Yeah.
doing these tasks.
He wasn't even that good mates with Joyce until like last season, right?
Nah.
And now he's just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll come to Russia with you. Like,
Yeah.
Mate, what was he saying on the plane? He's like, "I'm going to attack you now." Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kung fu you.
You also talk about the fact that Joyce gets sent this code and then it says to call a number.
Mm.
And so she calls it. And this Enzo bloke has been standing outside in the cold next to a payphone
for weeks.
waiting for it to
So
ring.
long.
Yeah, man, he's getting paid.
Timing was right.
Doesn't go to work, doesn't go to sleep.
What about on that Russian arc? What do you think of Yuri as like just a bit of a comical relief?
So when we said that a lot of the lines weren't cheesy and stuff, like he was like probably the most comedic character of the season, besides like just seeing funny stuff from like the other characters. But I laughed at like everything he did. His laugh was contagious. So he's like,
Yeah.
I can't even do it. Just
Yeah.
like he was just like
Have
a
a go.
really airy Brit.
Yeah. Nah, I thought he was good. And then he had a little redemption at the end because he gets stuck with the former prison guard and they're like, you have to get the chopper right here at the right time. And he's stalling with the engine before. And you're like, fuck, he could either fuck it or he could finally be a good bloke. So
You
I
could tell
thought,
he was going to come around, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, the guilt trip was insane.
yeah,
Absolutely nailed it.
I thought that was good. One last thing I wanted to say was that there are a lot of like one-shot takes where the camera doesn't stop for a long time that kind of go unnoticed. Really weird reference, but in episode 4, you've got the guys in California and the resistance, if you will, are coming to the house to find Elle to kill her because they don't want, they're like against her. And the guys are all in the house and they just get home and the police, the FBI or whoever's minding them. And then these soldiers come in and the camera doesn't ever break and people getting killed. They're going from like wall to wall and then they escape and it's like a whole minute and you're like, fucking hell. Like,
I did actually see behind the scenes of like the 3, Jonathan, Mike and Will like practicing the like basically like the choreography of that scene. It was pretty interesting to watch.
yeah. And just again goes to show how much effort they put in. It was a much bigger season. They had bigger budget. And I just thought little things like that made it all the more better.
It's almost satisfying, the fight scene. Like,
Yeah.
it just flows so well. It's almost
So
like
good.
a scene out of John Wick and you watch it just for
The
that.
spectacle of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of those 2 FBI blokes, one got shot in the chest, left there. No, one got shot in the chest and ended up getting tortured for like all his worth. Nothing wrong except like trying to protect some kids.
All right. Getting into the more bad parts or gripes that we had with the season. What annoyed people this season?
Oh, can I start? Because the
Go.
most annoying character in the whole show,
There you go.
Jason, the basketball,
Oh, man.
the basketball
guy.
guy. He supposed to be 18 years old, looked about 30. And he's just going around town. He's incited a mob.
Yeah.
The whole town is against him. He's walking around this army shop just buying pistols, threatening Nancy by holding a gun in the shop.
Mm.
And then the next scene, he's shooting football target practice.
pads, yeah.
What's he doing?
America.
I feel like he was a bit of a, like, I know he was there to slow down Lucas and make
He
sure
was always
Max
there to just
died.
be a fucking
An obstacle.
bump in the road.
Yeah.
Like, so annoying every single thing. Oh, here he is again.
That's the thing. Like, every time he came on, I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this guy.
Yeah, just get out, man.
Until Lucas absolutely put him in his place and just whacked the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good
fucks
fight,
him up.
actually. That was good.
The other thing with him was like he immediately thought that Eddie was like some sort of satanic wizard. And then they go to the lake and they see who's the second person that dies?
That guy from the editing.
Oh, yeah.
The guy from
Nancy's
the
like-
newspaper.
Yeah,
Second
Nancy's yeah. And it's like semi near the lake near
It's like on the road.
Max's
Caravan park,
caravan park. And he saw his own mate start getting up in the air and he still thought that it was someone else
Yeah,
and it
but-
was Eddie.
This is the thing I like about that aspect of the show, and I think it's well done, is at that point in time, like everyone everyone just thought that like there was satanic rituals going on, right? And like anti-religious groups and people didn't know what to believe.
Yeah.
And instantly they see this long-haired bloke who like plays Dungeons
Yeah.
and Dragons and does all this like gnarly shit. And they go, yeah, it could like that could be it. And all these like naive people just jump on the bandwagon.
That's a good point. I guess it's like something
It was like that was very indicative of the culture back then.
fair enough. I think one thing on that, like after the lake incident, so Steve goes down into the upside down. They then come back out.
It was ridiculous.
That they Max and Lucas kind of create a bit of a diversion with the cops to get them not looking at the lake. And they get back home and Dustin and stuff have to distract them. And the police were just like immediately interrogating the kids as if they like killed the bully guy. And I was just like, what the fuck like is police just think that it's always these kids. And then I think at the time, Erica's like she says something to like, you know, out the kids like, oh, they were down at the lake. Like, shut the fuck up, Erica. So that was something that pissed me off. She came better at the end because she starts to work with the crew. Yeah. But I was just like, fucking hell, just Erica, man.
Erica is supposed to be, these kids are supposed to be in first year of high school in America, which would make them.
Dude, Erica's like 12.
Erica's 12 and she's walking around the gun store with a
Yeah.
trolley full of I don't know what.
Mate, they've seen aliens.
They were all in the gun store. They're all in high school. They're all under 18.
No ID's getting checked.
Yeah. Like,
No.
does it have to be 21 or 18 for gun? I don't know what it is in
Mate,
America, but like
anyone can
whatever
get a
these
gun.
kids are all in school anyway.
Remember when Steve was like, "Oh, we've got to go find this water gate," and then there's four of them go out in the boat. It's pitch dark. Who knows what's underneath? Could be some Demogorgon, freaking like predator, like swimming things. And he goes, "Yeah, I got this." Takes off his shirt. All the girls like, "What?"
And he's all hairy.
Yeah,
He's tin of hairy, hey.
and then he just dives in like so it's normal. It's just like in the middle of the day.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh shit, like I'm going in too.
I'm
Like,
going in.
what are you gonna both drown there underwater together?
All these
Like
kids, they
two-
blindly follow everyone. They're like, "Oh, okay, we're going on another adventure."
It's
Whatever.
insane.
Is there any danger of doing anything in the show during the day
Nah,
as well?
always at night.
The days go for 10 seconds and the nights go for 3 episodes.
Mate, they just sit around watching TV, playing D&D, and then they go out at night. One thing for me, so they do tie it back into the end, but in episode 7 or episode 8, I was like, where the fuck are Will and the California guys? Like, they just aren't in the story for like 3 episodes. Then it's like, oh shit, they get Elle and they happen to stumble upon the, you know, science lab. I was like,
Oh,
that was a bit
because the whole time they were just following a map
they're following a map. Oh, we're
to some
lost.
coordinates.
Like,
So we're not going to put them on the screen. We don't
Yeah,
want to watch them
but-
driving around.
but like, I was like, that was just a bit too easy. And like, they did fuck all. And Mike was being a little bitch. And I know, Ben, you want to talk about Mike. So maybe we roll in then.
Oh, Mike. He used to have personality and he used to have character, but now he's just so obsessed with Elle. And you saw in Will's reaction, we don't really know why Will had that reaction, but Mike just is a shell of himself. And
He's like an emo.
So obsessed with Elle.
Well, like at the start of the season, he comes back and Elle's been getting bullied and like lying about who her mates are. And he's just not telling his feelings and she's been writing all these letters and shit. I'm like, fuck off. Like, fucking express your feelings to her. And then he tries to do it when she's, you know, asleep in the tank in the pizza shop at the end. I didn't even give a shit. Like,
And I get the
Mike
whole
sucks.
thing. I get the whole
Too
thing
late.
that they're teenagers.
Yeah.
And this is teen love. But also these guys are also not teenagers in the other respect. Like they're
No.
going and fighting all these demons and the police and like slashing the police's tires. You guys aren't 15 yet.
going to jail easily for that.
You can't be.
Yeah, you're at least you put 30 years on your actual like body clock or soul.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then another thing for me that was just so annoying. I hated this person as a character.
Oh god.
Papa. He is
He's
just
such
the
a loser,
worst.
hey?
He's the biggest piece of shit, the worst human ever. When Elle's about to escape from the facility, she's like,
So she's about to willingly leave. Like they're about to let her walk out.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, you can go. And then is that when he like
He just
gives her
gets
the
the-
anesthetic and
He gives her
drugs her?
anesthetic and also like 4 like Marines just like stand in front of her and they're like, "No, you're not leaving."
Yeah, and
And
then
he-
you're
and he
like,
takes the other
man,
doctor
just
away."
get out of here. Like, what's your deal? Like,
That's like we've seen him the whole time. That's like the 3rd season. Every single time, it's the same thing happens. He doesn't let her leave, and you're just like, "Oh,
man,
again."
just get out. And
Why
the
couldn't they
other,
have some like, let her do something. You know.
yeah, just fucking let her go. You're just a pedophile, man.
he's
And the
dead
other
now.
thing, the other
Fuck him
thing is like the other scientist, Dr. Owens, is like, come on, man, just we don't need her. Let her go. And he's like, got some weird obsession. It was weird. Like he was played well by Matthew Modine, but just pissed me off.
Yeah, the whole idea of that hospital, like thinking about it realistically, is just so off its head. It's
Crook.
Yeah.
So crook.
just like imagine
Bunch
like
of
some
scientists
kids,
taking
like-
some kids.
You got
Take it
kids
from
in
the-
little white robes just walking around with no shoes on. You're like, "What the fuck is this?"
in white rooms getting filmed.
Also,
Going on.
calling him Papa, just I don't know.
It creeps
irks
you
me.
out, hey?
It's
Yeah.
so weird. Maybe he's dead now, but it would have been cool to see maybe Vecna and 11 just fuck him up. Or even
Harry Potter
even
violence.
11. Yeah. Even 11 just to
Ripping him to shreds.
just to tear him to pieces.
Oh, also, since we don't like Jason, we got to see him get fully ripped in half. Like,
Oh, yeah,
when
that's
the
great.
when like 4 points
Oh, yeah.
expanded, he was lying there and his torso just gets shredded.
Oh man.
That was the ending
insane.
he deserved.
Absolutely.
No fuss, just kill him.
Yeah.
Seconded.
As much as we all love the Lucas and Max love story and Max's story,
Yeah.
I think if she actually died and all of them like witnessed like one of their key integral group members die, it would just put so much gravity onto what's about to happen next in season 5. Like
Well,
we would be sad. Like, where is she? I don't know. Like, but like she's technically still alive.
mm,
If she fully just died right then and there in Lucas's arms,
Oh.
like it would be insane.
100%.
It would probably be one of the most saddest deaths TV history.
Yeah, I agree. And like, if she dies from now in a coma, like everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, righto." Like,
Yeah, like
it's not gonna be very powerful.
Yeah, it's too drawn out now.
yeah, too drawn out.
yeah.
exactly.
So I guess on that point then, what are the predictions with her coming back? Because they're not going to put her in a coma and have 11 go like, Max, where are you? If she doesn't get found. Do we think she's going to come back?
Yeah.
I think she'll spend a lot of the season in the coma, but she'll come back and everyone
At the
go,
11th
"Oh."
I
hour.
think she'll have some sort of
Yeah.
storyline where, because like 11 went into the, like whatever she goes into, the mind realm or something,
Mm.
and she
Black
wasn't
realm,
there. Like her mind or soul wasn't wasn't there.
No lie.
I think she'll be somewhere and she'll have to like go on some sort of like a journey herself.
Yeah, maybe that'll make her character even better because she's still like a bit of a closed book, Max.
Yeah.
So
Where does
Could be
Elle
good.
get these extra powers from?
Yeah, how did she get a
She's
power?
got a
Mate,
new
don't
power
ask.
every season.
I don't know. Was that even a thing in the last season?
I don't feel like Elle's
Yeah, she's
ever...
always been able to do those like mind.
She
going
can go
into,
on
like,
people's
different-
minds, but Max is dead. And she's gone into her mind and said, "Hey, Maxie girl, wake up for a brother."
Also,
And Max has gone, "Righto."
yeah. Also, the other thing was like, what are you, a surgeon? You can straighten her like horizontally broken limbs back into place.
The exact same.
What?
What are you talking about?
She like it was inferred that she straightened them back.
No, it wasn't.
She was in 4
It was
casts.
inferred that she just restarted her heart.
No, but
Doctors
in
would
the hospital,
have. The doctors would
How'd
have
she
done
do
the
that?
surgeries,
Then?
mate.
Either way, how'd she do it?
Because she's got great powers, mate.
I think she got saved before the whole process was finished because her eyes were still like there.
Yeah.
Like, they were
Popped.
white. They weren't
Yeah.
popped, and
Yeah,
none of her neck had snapped yet. So I don't know if they got it the perfect half.
No, so she died. She would have died after she fell. She just died from shock and pain.
Yeah, she was
But
still
she has
alive though. When normally you
4
die
limbs
straight away.
broken, and
Yeah.
I've got a question for everyone. Did you know that there was going to be another season when you watched this one?
I thought this was the end.
Yeah, I didn't.
So
think,
did
I.
I.
Didn't know either.
And I was getting to the end. I was like, this isn't wrapping up.
Yeah.
At all.
Mate,
Mate, I'm
they've
an
opened
hour and a half into this 2.5 hour episode. I didn't
They've
think this is
opened
going
up-
to end.
I think I was on like episode 6 and I was saying, why is Hopper still in Russia? Someone get him out.
Get him out of there. Well, now Hawkins is, under fire. It's opened it back up. So, what else? What are some other predictions for next season?
They show at the end everything's sort of dying, like the plants are dying. They're all looking out.
Mm.
The mind flayer sort of in like this darkness in the air going into the middle. With
There's
the
there's
gates.
like the little crusty snowflakes that come down in the upside down. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
merging together.
Is Vecna going to be leading the charge still?
Oh, here's my theory.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've all brushed over this, and people have picked it up here and there when I've been reading things. Nancy got shown the history of Vecna, right? When she went into the house.
Oh,
She also told the group after that Vecna showed her like some other beast with like a massive gaping mouth. Like whatever that is, that's definitely not the Mind Flayer. We didn't see much of its mouth. It's definitely not all these other Demogorgons.
Yeah.
She was like, it is huge. Like,
Well, on that point, didn't she also get shown like his plans of like what he plans to do?
yeah, and he was like,
did it.
Tell
He
everyone
opened up
about this.
yeah,
He
he
opened
showed,
up
he showed
Hawkins.
her how he would open it up, but like maybe that massive
Thing.
portal opening up will allow for something to come through.
Yeah. Well, has Nancy told the others about what she saw?
She told them about the massive gaping mouth.
Oh, okay.
In addition to the massive gaping mouth, Will's painting. So Will's been into the upside down and been all fucked up by Vecna before. Will's painting has all of them fighting a 3-headed dragon.
That's true.
Wow.
The love.
So what is that?
Man.
So what does that envision?
I don't know, but if it is,
That's a pretty clean take.
if it is true, but that means that Mike would be like the heart and like saves the day. And if he does, I'm quitting.
Ben's gonna fucking.
Mike's gonna get all like tit of jacked between seasons
No.
and then come back a massive hero.
Also, speaking of, Hopper was fucking jacked as fuck this season.
Yeah,
Everyone was
skinny
getting around his
jacked,
weight loss.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a random take. I hope that it's more than just like a sort of 3-headed dragon type thing, but maybe that's part of the like whole Dungeons and Dragons.
Will
tie-in.
Will got the little shiver on his neck. Like he will probably play a massive role in the last season.
He was
be
pretty
something.
quiet as well
It was quiet this one for sure.
this season.
If it's judging by the last season, they got a lot of episode time to fill, and I feel like Vecna's almost at his end, but they've got to do something, don't they?
Did Vecna die?
No, he escaped. He crumbed over around.
Oh yeah.
They came out the front door and he was gone.
Yeah, he was just vanished.
You can see how powerful he is there because he got 2 Molotov like smashed against him. He had
4 shotgun shots.
4 shotgun shots, fell off like maybe 3-story house.
Oh, Nancy,
Great way to go.
Nancy, why aren't you shooting him in the head? Why are you not doing headshots?
Mate, she's not a specialist.
It's a shotgun, mate. All you have to do is aim it 10 centimeters higher and you hit him in the
you go in the
face.
upside down and you do it.
Yeah, I'll do
But
it.
it just shows how powerful he is because if that's at 11, she'd be Gonski's like.
Oh,
see you later.
absolutely.
So he's got so much power in him.
Yeah.
I know it was an emotional scene and you had Kate Bush playing in the background, but if I'm there, I'm throwing all 3 Molotovs at once. All 3 of you go. Why are you all just waiting? Nancy
All
takes
staring
about
at him.
30 seconds to pull out the shotgun and shoot him.
Harrington's got an axe. he
Mate,
doesn't
it's
even
called
use.
drama. They got to
Yeah, it's
lengthen
great.
it out.
It is great drama, to be fair. My hot take for next season, Jonathan, he has a big season.
Okay.
Jonathan's been training up. He's going to cut out the weed. He's going to have a huge season and make Nancy make a real tough decision.
Okay. Maybe
Nancy's going to have to pick between sacrificing Steve or Jonathan.
that'd be huge. I wouldn't mind that, but maybe one of them dies and her choice gets made for her. That could be interesting.
Nice.
I think Will had a pretty quiet season. I'd be interested to see what happens there.
I would love to see someone betray everyone from the group and like
Turn evil.
turn evil to
That
the
would be-
upside down.
That could be what we
I
saw
don't-
at Max.
I don't want it, but it could be a good like pickle between them. I want Lucas to continue on his little path. He's done well.
Yeah, he's really,
He's
growing.
surrounded himself with the right group.
Mm.
You know? He's surrounded himself with the goers, and he has also started to go.
Can we talk
Absolutely.
more about Dustin,
I was
please?
going to say this Dusty Bun.
We haven't talked about him at all.
All right, well, let's do a quick little Dustin
Dustin,
tribute.
he's
No,
screaming and yelling.
Hang on. We did talk about him.
No, we
With
talked about
Eddie.
his sad scenes, but man, he's fun to watch.
What, his pubic voice?
Yeah, his screaming and yelling is great. His humor with Steve and Eddie is amazing.
It is.
He always creates the plans.
He's the mastermind.
He honestly
He
is.
always deciphers the like
the
codes, like the lights in
Yep.
the upside down and stuff.
He's got a side girlfriend helping him out. or
he's
the
like not.
computer.
He's like
Yeah.
absolutely not scared of anything. He's
And
the one that
he's
goes,
seen it
"Okay,
all."
we're going on this other mission. We're going right
Also,
now."
did he like break his ankle or did he just
Yeah, he jumped down and upside down, did his ACL, MCL, everything. He's hobbling around.
he's
still hobbling around the next day.
Yeah,
Let's see
he's
Eddie
at the
Dustin
gym
next
helping
season.
out. He's out helping out everyone else. He's still got an ACL injury. Oh, fuck.
Season 5, Dustin's at the physio just getting his ACL rehab.
Someone gave me a stretcher.
Oh man, that's cunny. He was pivotal in the season. That is a wrap for Stranger Things season 4. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in the final season. Season 5 will be waiting till 2024, but
No.
we'll yarn then. We'll see where Cinemates is in 2 years.
We've got a
thanks.
Hollywood studio.
On top of the world.
Absolutely.
refresher.
We'll be making the Stranger Things spin-off by then. So thanks so much for listening to this episode of Cinemates, a podcast where a bunch of mates chat about cinema over some drinks. Huge thank you to Theo, Ben, and Angus for coming onto the show. It was great chatting with you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Loved it.
As always, please let us know what you want to hear about in future episodes. And if you want to send in a mailbag or do an elevator pitch to me, send us a DM on Instagram or TikTok at cinemaze_. Otherwise, we'll catch you for the next episode. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Cinemates. Make sure to follow us and leave a review on your chosen streaming platforms. Also, check out our Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube channel for more Cinemaze content. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge Australia's First Nations people as the traditional owners and custodians of the land and pay respect to the Cammeraygal people of the Eora Nation upon whose country Cinemaze is based. We honour the storytelling and culture of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities across Australia. Also, in the spirit of chatting with mates, remember it's always important to check in with those around you. Whether it's friends, family, or colleagues, sometimes they may be going through a hard time, and chatting with them may reassure them that they aren't alone. If you or anyone you know is ever struggling, call Lifeline on 13 11 14.